Welcome to the Chelsea Fans Channel. Losing to our nearest and dearest in Wembley is never a positive experience. I would never ever pretend or try and sugarcoat it. It's painful. Nobody wants to lose at Wembley, and our day started off gloriously. It was beautiful sunshine, and we went down early and left a little present for the Arsenal fans. We did this. Nice, isn't it? And yeah, it was the perfect Wembley setting. It was brilliant. It was a lovely feeling to be back watching Chelsea play football in a competitive, or at least semi-competitive, setting. For once, I think we had more possession, we had more chances, we played better football, and for once we lost the game. I think that in a way Arsenal sort of out Chelsea'd Chelsea. I think that we played very well. I think that we knocked the ball around quite well. I think there were lots to take positives from, but Arsenal had more of a cutting edge. They looked more dangerous when they had the ball, and yeah, they were just more effective with it. It's exactly what we've been doing, and in the past when we've done that, we've been accused of parking the bus and all those boring cliches that sort of drive you mad as a football fan, not only as a Chelsea fan. I think Arsenal learnt a thing or two from what Mourinho has done to him in the past, and we lost the game. And full credit to Arsenal. I say overall they probably deserved the victory. I think the real problem for Chelsea, looking at yesterday's game, was our best two players are Hazard and Fabregas. I think that's pretty much non-negotiable. And if those two don't play, if one of them doesn't play, I think the other one is good enough to carry the team. If they both have an off day, we're in a pretty dire state. And that was the case yesterday. Fabregas looked appalling. He just couldn't get on the ball. He couldn't find feet. Lots of these accusations are things that you don't ever expect to say about him. What he's good at, his standard thing, is his ball distribution. And it just wasn't there yesterday. It was disappointing, really. And Hazard just really looked off the pace. I felt like the first two games we were in the States, and the first two games over there, he looked a little bit unfit, but he really pulled it together in the game against Barcelona, and that culminated in a fantastic solo goal. And yesterday's back to square one, really. I thought that he just couldn't get any sort of change out of the Arsenal fullbacks, and they were too good for him on the day. When you flick through the back pages, we're all football fans. We like reading about football. We're all interested in football players and football tactics. And it's so boring, in my opinion, to open the back pages today and it's all about Mourinho and Wenger. It's like they're behaving like 2-year-olds. They couldn't shake hands. They don't need to be best friends, but they could certainly, just for the cameras, shake hands, don't look each other in the eye and move on. The fact that Mourinho did a weird pivot and Wenger did this sort of like dropping the shoulder dodge to avoid him, it just seemed ridiculous. I genuinely find it really embarrassing. But do you guys think it's funny? What do you think? I've really had enough of it. I just think be professional, get on with it, shake hands, don't look each other in the eye, and get on with managing your football team. I suppose that brings us on to Arsenal. They were very good. I think Oxlade-Chamberlain is a very good player. I really rate him highly, and it would have been very interesting. I'd love to know how close to actually signing him we ever were. In this Petr Cech deal, there was rumour that Chelsea were after Oxlade-Chamberlain. I'd love to know if that was ever believable, because he's a fantastic player. He scored a brilliant goal yesterday, absolutely brilliant. And I'd say he's probably man of the match. He played brilliantly, certainly from where I was sitting in the upper tier. He looked excellent. So it's a shame that we didn't get hold of him, or at least try and force Arsenal's hand with him. But Arsenal looked good. I said it before the season. I thought that they were a couple of players short of winning the league, and they got hold of Cech. The only thing that I can put a caveat in, let's remember that this time last season, they also won this game. They beat Manchester City, who were champions. They beat them 3-0. So let's just remember how their season panned out. So let's not kind of ride this Arsenal wave too wildly. There's a long way to go. And although I would have loved to have won this trophy, I was very upset that we didn't. It's always nice to win at Wembley, particularly against them. It is a glamorised friendly. It is. Let's just remember, you're allowed to make about 6 substitutions. It's not proper football. So, perspective is needed. It's not worth getting too upset about. The only issue I have now is our forward line. I think without Diego Costa, it just really looked bad yesterday. I'm a big fan of Remy. You all know that I think that he's a fantastic player and one of the most natural finishers I've ever seen. But it's as if he didn't know the offside rule. I think somebody needs to explain it to him. He's kind of adopted the Pippo Inzaghi style of football, hasn't he? You just think, come on, like you need to lead the line, not kind of be a hindrance to the line, just constantly giving possession away. So Remy really needs to buck his ideas up after looking at that performance yesterday. And Falcao, a man who I've supported passionately and ardently and zealously, again, it just didn't look up to it. I thought that when we were in the States, he looked really hungry. and looked really, really good. Actually, I thought that I actually suggested that he should start the game. When he came on yesterday, not good enough. Not good enough at all. And I think that we really do need to look at it. And the only other problem, sorry to be so morbid on a Monday morning, the only other problem is the back line. You know, when you end up having to push Kurt Zouma out to left back and substitute John Terry, you've only got 5 defenders at the club. We really do need this deal with John Stones to go through. I'm convinced it will. Bubba Rama's another option, but we do need to sign some defenders. So let's use yesterday's defeat, and let's use it as a springboard for a brilliant season. I think that we could look back on this day, this gloomy Monday morning. We could look back on this in a few weeks' time, certainly in May, and just see it as actually the catalyst for having a brilliant season. Anyway, onwards and upwards, Chelsea, only champion. Last chance to really make it at a huge club. I think his move from here, if he were to leave Chelsea, would be down, and I don't think he wants to do that. He wants to play at the highest level. And fair play to him. I think that he was magnificent. So Victor Moses.